Nothing like this has ever happened before since the very beginning of the special military operation. In just 1 week, Russia launched 4 massive missile strikes on the territory of Ukraine with an interval of 20 hours. At the same time, the nomenclature of arms and the intensity of strikes rapidly increase with each new missile attack. As you remember 48 hours ago, in my video, I informed you about a massive Russian missile attack on military facilities and the energy infrastructure of Ukraine. As a result of this missile attack, the Russian armed forces managed not only to deprive the Ukrainian Army and NATO forces of their numerous logistics hubs and armories, but also to destroy 4 enemy F-16 fighter jets, 3 Ukrainian pilots, and 1 US Air Force pilot. And now, it has become known about another massive Russian missile attack that took place on the night of September 28. By now, details of this missile attack have already emerged. My friends, in today's video, I intend to tell you in detail what exactly the Russian armed forces destroyed on the territory of Ukraine last night. So, on the night of September 28, the Russian armed forces hit and destroyed dozens of military installations in the Ternopil, Odessa, Cherkasy, Kiev, Kharkiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and Khmelnytsky regions of Ukraine. It is reliably known that during this missile attack, Russia used dozens of ballistic missiles, cruise missiles, and long-range kamikaze drones. Moreover, during this missile attack, the Russian armed forces once again used their superweapons, MiG-31 supersonic interceptor fighters, armed with Kinzhal hypersonic missiles. Let me remind you that it was these MiG-31 interceptors that destroyed 4 American F-16 fighter jets and 1 US Air Force pilot at the Starokostiantyniv airbase 48 hours ago. The fact that the Russian armed forces have once again used these interceptors armed with Kinzhal hypersonic missiles indicates that Russian military intelligence is working at full capacity in Ukraine, and that the Russians know exactly where to strike. So, several hundred kilometers from the combat contact line, independent monitoring services recorded about 5 powerful explosions in the Ternopil region. Unfortunately, as of September 29, 2024, there is still no exact data on what exactly was destroyed in this western region of Ukraine. In the Odessa region, in the urban-type settlement of Sergeyevka, Russian Iskander-M ballistic missiles hit and destroyed the building of a local sanatorium. According to the coordinator of the Russian underground in Ukraine, Sergei Lebedev, dozens of foreign mercenaries were in this building at the time of the missile strike. According to him, there are still no exact figures on the number of victims among these so-called soldiers of fortune. However, he noted that the explosion was so powerful that the sanatorium building was almost wiped off the face of the earth. In this regard, he expressed confidence that all foreign mercenaries in this building had been destroyed. In the Cherkasy region, in the city of Kharkiv, Russian kamikaze drones hit a hydroelectric power plant. In the Kiev and Kharkiv regions, Russian missiles along with kamikaze drones hit and destroyed the places of the deployment of units of the National Police and the National Guard of the Kiev regime. In the Dnipropetrovsk region, in the northwestern part of the city of Dnipro, Russian ballistic missiles hit and destroyed a large ammunition depot located on the territory of the Uzmash arms factory. In the Khmelnytsky region, on the night of September 28, Russian MiG-31 interceptors armed with Kinzhal hypersonic missiles once again attacked Starokostiantyniv airbase. Independent monitoring services reported 5 powerful explosions on the territory of this military facility. Later, the Ministry of Defense of the Russian Federation officially announced that all the intended targets at the Starokostiantyniv air base had been successfully hit and destroyed. At the same time, the Russian military department, as always, did not provide any details of its missile attack. However, on September 28, at 6 p.m. Moscow time, the first details of this missile attack began to appear. In particular, influential Russian telegram channels, citing their own sources in the Russian Defense Ministry, said that on the night of September 28, MiG-31 interceptors destroyed several more enemy fighter jets along with NATO Air Force officers at the Starokostiantyniv air base. For example, the authoritative Russian telegram channel Donbassky Partisan declared that MiG-31 interceptors launched a repeated blow to Starokostiantyniv air base, where the 7th Tactical Aviation Brigade of the Ukrainian Air Force is stationed. It is reported that as a result of this attack, Russian interceptors managed to destroy an underground bunker, 3 F-16 fighter jets, 5 Su-24 frontline bombers, and 9 NATO Air Force officers. Later it turned out that these NATO Air Force officers were hiding in a destroyed underground bunker, where Storm Shadow cruise missiles were stored. According to a source in the Russian military department, 6 of the 9 NATO Air Force officers killed were U.S. citizens of Ukrainian origin. It is reported that all of them were active fighter pilots of the U.S. Air Force. The other 3 dead NATO officers were French citizens and represented the French Air Force. In addition, 6 technical specialists from the Netherlands and 8 military instructors from Britain were seriously injured during this missile attack. It is reported that these NATO officers set flight data into Storm Shadow cruise missiles, and also coordinated launches of aircraft missiles from American F-16 fighter jets transferred to Ukraine. Thus, in the last 48 hours, Ukraine and NATO have lost 7 F-16 fighter jets, 3 Ukrainian pilots, 3 French Air Force pilots, 7 U.S. Air Force pilots, 8 British military instructors, and 6 technical specialists from the Netherlands. Thus, since August of this year, the Ukrainian Air Force has already lost 10 units of F-16 fighter jets, and 5 of its experienced pilots, who have been training in NATO countries for more than 2 years. Commenting on yesterday's Russian missile attack on the Starokostiantyniv air base, many independent experts and analysts admitted that Russian MiG-31 supersonic interceptors staged a real hunt for American F-16 fighter jets and other carriers of the Storm Shadow cruise missiles. It is noteworthy that Russian MiG-31 interceptors do not allow American fighter jets to even take to the air, destroying them on the ground and even in underground bunkers.